Listen to me and listen to me really well. You know, you are absolutely nothing if you base your identity to what you have or what you don't have. You know, you might tell yourself that you are so rich, so wealthy that you can buy the entire planet to make it your swimming pool if you want to. But if you base your identity to your wealth, you are absolutely nothing. If you base your identity to your beauty, you are absolutely nothing. Same thing, if you base your identity to what you don't have, you are also nothing. You may tell to yourself that I am so poor. I'm so poor that I can't even buy a drink of my own. Why was I born to suffer? Why I struggle every day? Oh, nobody deserves to love me. If you think about yourself like that, you are absolutely nothing. you know, um, I want to share a little bit about my experience. When I came here in Canada, 2007, I was excited. I was happy that finally an opportunity has come my way, that I'm leaving behind my futureless life, that now I'm here and I'm going to make money. I'm going to study and make money as much as I can, as much as I wish. I'm going to finally be able to get married and have 4 kids and live a dreamy life that I always wanted. Guess what? Surprisingly, life did not go in linear as much as I wanted, as much as I would want it. That's not how life goes. I remember in my 4 years in college, in my first year in university, I remember sitting down in my class of 100 people. Most of the time, I'll be the only black girl there. And as soon as I sat down, the whole range will get up and go sit somewhere else. I wonder why people are seeing me that way. Is it because I am black? Is it because did I shower? Why do I sit down and everybody get up? Most of the time, our professors will give us corrective assignments to do in groups, and I will always struggle to find somebody I could work with. And I was like, what's going on? Why everybody's running away from me? You know, on the employment side, oh my God, I suffered. I can't tell you how many times I applied and applied and applied and not finding anything. And I was looking everywhere, in the grocery stores, in laundries, in anything, so that I can live, so that I can support myself when I'm going to work. But I mean, when I'm going to school. But guess what? It was not that easy. So why was not that easy? When I was going through those challenges, I kept wondering, I kept thinking in victimized mindset. I kept victimizing myself. And sometimes I could feel even guilty and felt like I was deserving that kind of struggle I was going through, but it was not. The reason why I was going through that stuff, it was there to help me to connect back to myself, to my identity, and be able to find who I am really, to connect to my true soul, so that I can live up to what God has called me to do on this earth. Same thing. So when I was in school, during that school period and 4 years, I also struggled to make friends. I was Most of the time, the only black girl in my community, in my school, where I was living, where I was applying for school. I mean, for employment, and it was not that easy. The dating life also was confusing for me. Back home where I come from, you leave your father's house to go to your husband's house. We don't have any between. So when I got here and saw how the dating life was, it was confusing for me. I was feeling scared in such a vulnerable state. That is one of the reasons actually I got married on the first choice with a total stranger, because I wanted to feel that protection, to get out of that vulnerability side and be and feel a little bit protected being in marriage. To cut the story short, it didn't end well either. So I had to divorce within 3 years, because again, we started that marriage in wrong reasons, because I was scared, because I was looking for that protection. But it does not work that way. I was being driven by fear. I was being driven by survival. I was not operating in my identity. The same thing when I finished my school and started looking for work. God knows how long it took me to finally secure employment. I could tell you that I made tons of applications. Most of the time, my application were reviewed. Most of the time, I did tons of interviews. But when it comes to actual secure employment, it was another story. Part of it, now when I look back where I came from and where I am right now, I see how part of it was because I was not aligned with my true identity. I was being driven by fear, by survival, by victimized mindset. But when I started working on myself and connect with my true identity, everything changed from how I was seeing myself and how I was relating to my environment as well. So, yes, I struggled to find employment, but whenever finally I was able to get myself out there into that system, how I survived, it was that I tried my best to stay in my truth despite how people were acting toward me. So, and also I tried my best to take every single opportunity as it comes. I did all the kind of jobs. So I started in housekeeping, I did dietary aid, I did supportive housing, I did geriatric home care, everything. And whenever I was in my environment, in my workplace, I was building my professional experience little by little. I was also building my character little by little. And by the time I know it, I was fully functioning in my identity. So when I started being in my identity, it helped me tremendously to thrive and progress each day. It helped me tremendously to be able to overcome obstacles and setbacks that I was previously being challenged with, and always come out victorious, no matter how much I was challenged, no matter how much I was being set up, I always come out victorious. So how did I get there? I get there because I took time to align myself with my true identity and be able to set up my true values and live by them. Whenever you are walking in your truth, you are being honest, you are presenting yourself with integrity, people respect you regardless how you look like, where you come from, and whatever else labels society puts on you. So that's how I made it through and progressively. And most of the time, I was always accurate. I can't remember it. For example, in my career, most of the time I worked either in geriatric care or in outreach services. So I can't remember, I mean, I can specifically say, I can count on my fingers how many times I had issues with my clients. And each time I had an issue with my client, my leadership, my bosses, they were incredibly helpful to escalate the situation. So I never, ever felt like I was not supported most of the time with my leadership. So I remember in the three jobs three different jobs. Two was in geriatric care, and the other one was the one I just left recently in June. I had three times where I had issues that prompt to investigate. And each time they did the investigation, I always come clean. They did their criminal record. They did whatever they had to do to investigate whatever that was happening. And each time my name was clean. What does that say? It's because whenever you are operating in your truth, whenever you're presenting yourself with your truth, integrity, and honest, whatever people put you through, you end up getting victorious. And most of the time, those investigations happened because of some of my coworkers who were either threatened by who I was, who didn't like me, who wanted me to be out of place, and it never worked for them. Actually, it ended up backfired for them. Either they end up to be the one quitting or being fired or being forced to work with me after the investigation and after I know where the issues were coming from. So the integrity and knowing who I was in that place in particular time helped me greatly to thrive, even if I was being faced with certain situations that could have impacted me otherwise if I responded with negative reactions, or if there was truly whatever they were saying that was true, which was in fact not true. So living in my truth helped me to integrate myself in the system that was previously not easy to go in, as being a black girl, average girl, with limited English. Most of the time my clients, at one point, that's where I had clients who complained about my English skills. Other than that, I never had really any issue with my clients. On the contrary, it was some of my coworkers who were not, at some point, not happy with who I was and what I was doing. However, because of who I was and the skills level that I was bringing in my work, each time I had those kind of setbacks, I had incredible bosses that dealt with the issues accordingly, and I'm forever grateful. Even if they don't know, whoever they are, they just maybe they'll sometime see this video. I just want them to know that I'm incredibly grateful of their leadership and their support and their trust in me doing my job that I was hired to do. And I value the leadership and the mentorship they gave me because it helped me to shape my character and work on my skills and be able to move forward progressively. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because I keep seeing people struggling in life because they identify themselves according to what they have or don't have. I used to be in that type of mindset as well, and it works against you every time until you figure out who you are and actually start identifying yourself with who you are, with your values, and make it your mission to live by your values. So whenever you can imagine like how incredibly difficult it is to be a black girl and you are trusted in sitting in the service where you are servicing vulnerable population that are different with that are a different background as you, like people who are coming from a different ethnic background as you. Most of the time my clients were either white, so you can understand the level of trust and the level of integrity I had to be able to be trusted in those kind of services, to be able to sit down there and help my clients well enough for them to come back and say, hey, thank you. Thank you for taking your time to listen. Thank you for taking your time and helping me when I was hopeless, when I was almost being homeless. Thank you for your time to take your time and help me and prevent me to commit suicide. I have had those kind of feedbacks that comes from my clients. So whenever I was hearing those kind of feedbacks, it always helped me to reflect back and see how I got there and why I was being able to serve my clients regardless of being different, you know. And it took years and years of my personal experiences, of personal reflections, and years of seeing and understanding that actually most of the struggles we face in life and most of the issues we face in life, we face them because we are not operating in our identity. We face them because our mind is not intact, because our mind is operating either through division, and it's not working for us. It's because that mind is working against you. So when I look back at my life, where I started, where I am, and how I immersed in this role where I'm in a role of helping others regardless how they look like, and be able to influence and make a difference in someone's life. I can't help to think that most of the time as human beings, we feel divided or we face racism because that's how our mind is thinking and feeling at that moment. It's not because of how, it's not from external environment, it's from internal, how we see ourselves, how we identify, we relate to one another around us, how I see you and you see me, and you see me as a black woman and see me as a fat, short, tall, whatever that is, whatever division of labels we put ourselves, that's what actually divides us and makes us feel limited to live to our true potentials, to be able to live with one another in unity, because we have those things we have already put in place that divide us, you know. Yes, I understand that there is some systematic barriers that make people, some of the people less privileged than others. But those systematic barriers, in my opinion, they won't be there if it doesn't start with our mind. If each one of us had a beautiful mind that sees you and me as a human being rather than seeing someone else as either black or yellow or short or whatever that is, whatever label you put in place of someone else before you see him as a human being, that's what keeps us divided. So the moment I understood that code, it helps me immensely to live a peaceful life and to work with drama free, both in my professional and personal life. If you are in front of me, I see you as a human being. If you are in front of me looking for a services that I can offer you, either through my employment, I see you as a human being, period. If I see you in the gym, if I see you wherever we meet people, I see you first as a human being before I see you with any label attached to you. And it makes it easy to live a drama free life. It makes it easy to be just you and to progress, regardless of the challenges and setbacks that are being thrown in your way, because you already know who you are. You know what you are capable. You know your identity. You know where you come from and where you're going. Anything else external, if it doesn't contribute to how you relate to yourself versus others, none of that matter. And you live a beautiful life. So yes, it's very vital to really know yourself and find your identity that is not attached to anything. That way, if something you will reference yourself as, if it's stripped away from you, you can still go ahead regardless of losing that something. Let's say maybe you will identifying yourself according to the title you have, to the education you have, to the wealth you have. If you lose any of that thing, but you have your true identity, you're not losing anything. You can start over and build yourself up again. If you were living in a victimized mindset, you're always seeing yourself in that victimized mindset, but you work on yourself and you change that narrative. Anything you face, it will not take your identity away because you already know what you are. You know who you are. It comes from inside. It's not through any external validation you attach your identity to. So yeah, it took me years and years to understand all this stuff, but I'm glad, I'm grateful, I'm super happy that I took this time to really crack the code of being a human being, understanding my emotions, my feelings, and how it affects my everyday life and everyone attached to me and everyone else that I come across to. It made a great difference to understand that my identity is not equal to what I have or don't have. So if we can all start thinking about ourselves the same way, not attach ourselves to anything that we have or don't have, this world can be a better place. So I thank each one of you that contributed to shaping me for who I'm becoming, positively and negatively. I super grateful for my previous bosses that supported me and trusted me enough to trust me with the responsibilities they gave me regardless of who I was. And regardless of everything else. So the autonomy and the credible leadership you gave me shaped me into this character I'm becoming today, and I'm super grateful to you guys. I'm grateful to you, Sandy, Darren, Derek. I'm super grateful to you, Candice, for training me well enough. I'm super grateful to you, Lisa. If you didn't know, if you ever happen to see this video, I'm super grateful for your leadership. It helped me really well to become who I'm becoming today, not just because there was anything else attached. I am super grateful that you helped me to shape my identity, that is helping me and helping others that are coming across my channel right now. Thank you. Please make sure that you shape your identity according to what God created you to be. Thank you so kindly. Thank you.